been borrowed from your 401k plan is due at the time you lost your job, maybe 1 or 2 months after that. You don't have it to pay back, which in your case you don't. It's taxable income to you and a 10% penalty if you're not of proper age at that time.
Okay, Susie says there are 3 numbers everybody needs to know to have a healthy financial future, and they are?
They are your FICO score numbers. FICO happens to stand for Fair Isaac Corporation, the company that created the credit score years ago. FICO scores go from 300 to 850. The lower your FICO score, the higher your interest rate. The higher your FICO score, the lower your interest rate. But here's where you have to listen to me. FICO scores just don't determine the interest rates that you pay on car loans, home mortgages, credit cards. They also determine if a landlord will rent to you. For those of you losing your homes right now, for those of you who need to rent an apartment and landlord will not rent to you if you have a low FICO score. What is a low FICO score? Today, anything essentially under 700, because in today's economy, is considered low. Employers.
That implies that what, you're not trustworthy.
That's right. That you're not good with your money. You're not paying your bills on time. And if you're not paying your bills on time, why should the landlord think that you're going to be able to pay his or her rent? Here's the key. Employers are starting to check FICO scores, because if you're not good with your own money, maybe you won't be good with the company's money either.
Wow.
So a FICO score affects many, many things. Now, there are 3 ways that you can improve your FICO score, everybody. So here's the thing, number 1.
So you really are being judged by your FICO score.
Yes. Oh, you are your FICO score. I got news for you. Your FICO scores are being checked every single day, essentially. And if they see your FICO score go down, which is missed a payment, whatever it is, the credit card companies are absolutely going, oh my God, and that's when they're shutting down your credit limit, shutting down your credit card, and raising your interest rate to 32%. Now,
Here's a way to improve it, though.
there are 3 things that you can do. Remember, this is your action plan now. Just 3 things in 2009 to improving your credit rating, which is essentially your FICO score. I am asking you to pay more than the minimum each month if you can on your credit cards. Why?
Why? Because the credit company knows that when you pay more than the
Charging on your credit cards, and
Yes.
all you're doing is paying the minimum. The credit card companies are afraid now that you're not really being very smart with your money, because obviously you would pay more than the minimum if you could. And since you can't, it's not the FICO score that they're looking at to choose to close down your credit cards. It's the fact that you're paying just the minimum, and those are the cards that they're closing down. So I'm asking you, if you can, if you even have more than the plan you just gave you to get out of debt, to try to pay more than the minimum on each card, to pay all your cards on time. Pay your bills on
because
time.
that affects the score.
Affects the score big time. This thing here, paying your credit card bills on time, essentially counts for 35% of your FICO score, is if you pay your bills on time or not. It is seriously important, and please never go over your credit limit. If you go over your credit limit, that's when they start to raise your interest rates, close you down. If you can just try those 3 things, that will help your FICO score. And as you get out of credit card debt, Pamela, as you no longer have those cards anymore, do not close down those cards, because if you close down credit cards, it will hurt your credit score.
Wow. All right, sir, your questions.
Why does your FICO score go down if you get rid of credit cards?
When you close your credit cards down, you're also closing down a credit limit, the limit that those credit cards have extended to you. Approximately 30% of your FICO score is made up of something called your debt, what you owe, to your credit limit ratio, the credit limit that all these credit cards have given to you. If you close down credit cards, you close down your credit limit, which increases your debt to credit limit ratio, which decreases your FICO score.
Wow. All of them.
All
All of them in the action plan. We'll be right back.
Let's recap what we've learned about how to get out of credit card debt. Always pay on time. Pay more than a minimum payment. Line up your credit cards and pay off
Solaria.
the cards with the
Yacht.
highest
Oh my
interest
god,
rate
you're so
first.
skilled. I love this style. Thank you, Solaria.
Coming up, a wife who says her husband
Do you
spends money
use
like a
rubber
lunatic.
eraser?
Next, Susie helps stop the madness.
Yes, I do. I have here
Susie says
Kohinoor,
the bottom line for
hard
2009
mousse,
is
rubber
to start
eraser.
saving, but not to start saving if you have credit card debt, right? Pay off the credit card debt
Yes,
first,
credit card
and
debt
then you
gotta
start
get-
saving.
start saving.
Okay, what do you do when your partner won't stop over spending?
You have a talk with them like we did with our next guest.
Okay, Carol from North Carolina wrote us this letter.
My husband and I have a nice home and a beautiful 14-month-old daughter. I'm a stay-at-home mom and we live a perfectly comfortable life. But when I think about our finances, I feel like we have nothing. We don't have a 401k or IRA. We don't have any savings. We don't have wills or even a college fund for our daughter. And I'm overwhelmed with the insane amount of money we spend on eating out and extracurricular activities. I eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to save money, while my husband goes out to lunch every day. We have spent $35,000 in the last 10 months on things we didn't need. I cannot convince my husband for all the world that he needs to stop spending like a lunatic. It's causing me so much stress and it's killing my marriage. I don't want to be a statistic. I love my husband, but I can't keep living this way.
So yesterday, Susie had a private session with the Alberts upstairs in our offices here in Marco. And let's watch what happened. Back there.
Do you know how much it takes to run your household every month?
I'm guessing 25, around 2,500,
Do you know how much you have in a savings account?
$200.
If, God forbid, you were to lose your job, how many months do you think you could pay your bills?
I would say 3 months.
3 months you'd be able to pay your bills.
I'm hoping, yeah.
My dear Scott, I want to talk to you for a second. I've gone through your numbers, backwards and forwards. You gave me your answers. Let me tell you now the truth about your situation. It doesn't cost you $2,500 a month to live. It costs you $8,000 a month. In fact, you are approximately $95,000 in debt. Not including the house. Not including the house. And I got news for you. If you don't have an 8-month emergency fund and he loses his job, you are not 2 or 3 months away from being kicked out. You are 1 day away. You do not have 1 day of savings to live. When you pay the bills, when you don't show him and make him sit down with you and do it, it allows him to live a fantasy life. A very good point. So then, do you agree that you are an overspender at the second time?
Absolutely. I'm impulsive. I've made those purchases when I felt like I needed to make those purchases. And made
You
me
felt
feel
like
good.
you needed to make those purchases, or you felt like you wanted to?
Yeah.
So the first action you have to take is, when is it a need and when is it a want? Do you, from this day forward, my dear Scott, pledge to be a saver from this second on versus a spender?
Yeah, absolutely. I can make that adjustment.
But first they've got to pay off the credit card debt.
First, they have to pay off the credit card debt.
Yeah. And so many of you I know can relate to Scott and Carol. What is happening is living unconsciously. You've been doing all of this unconsciously. That's what it means to be unconscious.
Yeah, so because they weren't quite honest, because they didn't have a plan, they didn't know what actions to take. So here's what they have to do, and here's what America has to do in terms of an action plan when it comes to spending. From this day on, you're going to sit down and you are going to separate your expenses, and you're going to do it from wants versus needs. Scott wants to be able to play fast. Yes, he does not. That is a want.
Okay.
So after you've listed them, you're going to
The wants
circle
from your needs.
all the wants in your life. In this particular case,
Should you be doing this with your partner?
yes, when you share money with somebody, M just doesn't stand for marriage, it stands for money. You've merged lives. And you heard Carol say, you know, it was getting to her, it had a strain on her relationship. Why do you think almost half of the people who say I do get a divorce? these arguments over money, and it doesn't have to be that way. Not if we follow his action plan and how to live your best life. So you're going to circle all the expenses that are wants. And guess what? They are out of the equation for now, especially if you have credit card debt. Then, that's what you're doing. You are eliminating the wants from the picture so that you have money. So if you have debt, if you don't have any savings like in this situation, all the wants go out of the equation until you are out of credit card debt, until you have an 8-month savings plan, because then, Oprah, now you're being honest with what you can spend your money on and what you can't.
Okay, so what's the action plan then for actually saving the money?
All right, so then if we really want to do savings, here's what we do. We have another then action plan for you. I want you to start to save this extra money or whatever money you have or you can find. Please start saving an 8-month emergency fund. Now, I know that sounds like a lot. I know that sounds like an impossibility. I know that you think you'll never get there. You have to get there somehow.
8 times your salary.
8 times the money it costs you to live every single month. Your rent, your mortgage, whatever it may be. In Scott and Carol's situation, if their expenses after all the wants are out, and you heard me say it's $8,000 a month, let's say we get them down to $5,000, they have to save $40,000. Because if Scott loses his job in today's economy, it will take 8 months, possibly longer, till he finds another. So don't get overwhelmed by this, little by little by little.
So that's the goal, America,
This
is
is
to have
the goal.
at least 8 months worth of what you're spending per month
That's
in
right.
a savings account. That's
Correct.
the goal
Now,
of the thing.
you will decide that you can save so much every single month. Whatever that figure is that you decide you can save, I want you to stretch it. I want you to add 20% to it. Because for as much as you think you can do, I'm here to tell you, you can do more. You are all more than you really know who you are. And if you just stretch your abilities, you would grow into your abilities. So I'm just asking you to try that. Once you decided to do that, I want you to search around and look anywhere you can find to get the highest interest rate savings account that you put that money in so it can grow for you. Of course, make sure it's FDIC insured. Little by little, everybody. Little by little, if you take little action, your plans will become a reality, and don't get overwhelmed by it. Just
Even if you're just saving a little, you start to feel better about yourself.
yes, because here we have a situation where you have a savings account. How much better do you feel when you have 400, when you have 800, when you have 1,500? 1,600, honest to God, feels 8 times better than 200.
Back in a moment. We'll be back. We have another action plan. Susie wrote a brand new book just for all of us this year called Susie Orman's 2009 Action Plan. So we're moving on. Like millions of parents, Kathleen worked hard, she sacrificed, socked away enough money to send her 2 sons to college. She thought she was doing everything right until the bottom fell out. So,
I think it was September. I turned on the news and I see the market is down 400 points. And I get on the phone to my financial advisor and I ask him what's going on. He says, oh yeah, the market's tanking. It has been for several weeks. Well, gee, you know, it would have been nice to get a phone call. But I never got that phone call. I had $24,000 saved for each order. But then when I turned around, I now only have a little bit over $12,000 for each order. So it was 50% that I lost. When I sat down and started going through these statements, I was devastated. Ultimately, I think the blame is mine because it was my job to make these investment decisions. And I let it go. I trusted somebody else to do the job. I get so much mail. It becomes overwhelming. And yeah, I didn't open the mail, and I didn't compare last month to this month to this month. It's like the perfect storm of the market crashing and Kathleen nothing to touch. I took my eye off it. I'm sick to my stomach all the time. I've lost control, and I've been a control freak my whole life, and I've lost control. That's the scariest part. I've always had a play on it. And I'm trying to play.
So Kathleen's number one concern is not burdening her children with student loan debt. So Susie met with Kathleen and her husband Tony for a plan and action. Action plan.
I have a boy who is currently in college, he's a freshman, and another boy who's a sophomore in high school. 13 years ago, we bought 9 semesters of College Illinois for both boys. And they need room and board, they need books, they need an occasional hamburger.
All right, so you have $12,000 each. That's the boys also have $2,500 apiece in their savings. What if we were to take all the money you have that is Max's, and what if we were to convert that over and all of that money was to go to pay for Joe's college education?
Yes.
Right. Then we have Max 2 or 3 years from now that's about to go to school. Your goal that we're talking about right now is how are you going to send your children to college with them graduating without them being in student loan debt? Got it? Here's how we're going to do it. Students themselves can take out loans known as Stafford loans. There's 2 types of Stafford loans, ones that are subsidized and ones that are unsubsidized. But you have to be able to qualify for those, and we don't know if you can or you can't. If a child cannot get a loan for whatever reason, parents step in, and parents can get what's called a plus loan. A plus loan is simply a loan that the parents take out, the parents are responsible for. It's at an 8.5% interest rate, but I think if the kids can get a loan at a 6% deferred interest rate, that's the way to go. Doesn't mean that Max is the one who has to pay that loan back. You can pay it back for him. But no matter what action we take, the end result will be your 2 children are going to graduate from college without any debt whatsoever.
Wow. So what should parents who have lost much of their college funds do? Exactly what you just suggested.
It depends. In this situation, I just have to say this for Kathleen and Tony, because she came in thinking that she really had messed up.
Yeah.
They were 2 of the most responsible parents I've ever seen in my life. You know, Max and Joe, I don't know this, if you know this about Mommy and Daddy here, but they love you more than life itself, and they started to plan for you and themselves years ago. And they were caught in an economic downturn. The only mistake that Kathleen and Tony made was they didn't follow our rules that we've said forever on the show, which is money that you need within 5 years. You need that money to pay for a college education in this case. That is not money that belongs in the stock market. The other mistake that Kathleen has made in her own personal finances with Tony is that they had $120,000 for the emergency fund, my 8-month emergency fund. Oh, they had it. They had it, however, in the stock market, and now that $120,000 is only $70,000. So money that is there for an emergency fund is money that does not belong in the stock market. So if you are a parent and you happen to have lost the money that you were going to send your children to school with, if you can afford the payments on a plus loan, the new laws for plus loans is that if a parent takes out this loan, you do not have to start paying back this loan until your child is through
Let's talk about
school
anime. Hello,
4
hello.
years from now. So that gives you time to figure out what are you going to do.
Next, if your 401k is free falling, Susie's 2009 action plan for retirement funds is coming up.
Special thanks to TD Ameritrade and their Save Yourself program with Susie Orman. It's time to put you and your finances first. Go to www.saveyourself.com. Thanks, TD Ameritrade.
29-year-old Kristen says that she got so fed up watching her 401k go down the tube, she stopped contributing to it. So Kristen, what happened?
So I continually saw my money. I put money in. It kept continuing to drop. And also had this looming worry. My mom, she's nearing retirement. She's lost nearly half her 401k. And she also told that she's going to be laid off in January. So looking for how to get my retirement back on track and then also how to plan for the future.
But, you know, Kristen, you are how old?
29.
There's a big difference between being 29 and being 56, which is, I believe, how old your mother happens to be. And now is not the time to stop investing in your retirement account. Now is the time. Why the market is going down, 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 down. That every month you put into your retirement account, guess what? Your money buys more shares. The more shares you have, the more money you're going to make by the time you are your mother's age. So here are the new rules for retirement investing that you really all have to do. You panic. You panic. Don't panic when the market goes down. If you have at least 10 years or longer, preferably longer, and the market goes down, not only should you not be panicking, you should be doing the little happy dance. This is my happy financial dance. Because why? You're being able to buy things that were totally unaffordable before. Now is the time. Please don't stop as long as time is on your side. So you're going to keep investing monthly in your 401k or your IRA as long as you're 5-10 years away from retirement. So what I would be telling your mother is different than you at this point in time. But again, that's all in the action plan.
Yes.
If you need money within 5 years, you need it to do what? Whether
Amazing
it's to
cartoon
pay
videos,
for college
1978
education,
Mera
whether it's to buy a
sketch.
house. I don't care what it is. That
Sorry,
is
I
not
didn't
money
understand.
that belongs in the stock market. You have got to, at that point, make a decision. What are you going to do?
So
But
what money should be in the stock market?
the money that's in the stock market is money that you don't need. You don't need for anything for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years because you need time on your side so that when something like this has happened and the market goes all the way down, it's time to recover. And you need to keep investing while it's going down. If you just stop investing, good luck really ever making it back.
I thought you had a good question, sir. Yeah.
Did you factor your 401k savings plan at all into your expense savings plan?
Into your expense saving plan only. If your 401k matches the contribution, you have to put money in there, but you have to be out of credit card debt. You have to have an 8-month emergency fund because a 401k is not an emergency fund. It is a retirement fund, and it has to be there for when you get older. Because here's the question. If you cannot pay your checks right now while you have a paycheck, if you cannot pay your bills right now while you have a paycheck coming in, how are you going to pay those same bills later on in life when you no longer have a paycheck coming in? You're not going to be able to, and you cannot count on Social Security. Although maybe now we can. But it's like, but truthfully, so you have to really understand savings, emergency fund, retirement.
Next, if you're ready to make real money changes in your life, I want you to stay tuned for Susan's 2009 pledge that's really going to make a difference in your life. This is going to help you. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm really excited about this new plan. Susie says if you make just 3 little changes, it will help you begin to gain control over your financial life. And everybody wants control, right? Okay, so you got to agree to this plan. I'm not going to let you out of here with what you do. She wants everybody watching to take this pledge, so have at it.
And here is the pledge, everybody. Just try it. I'm telling you, it won't be that hard. For just one day, whether it's a Saturday, a Sunday, I don't care what day it is, I want you, yourself or your entire family, to not spend money for just one day. Then, I want you to try for just 1 week, not to use a credit card. And I want you to try for 1 month. 1 month, that's not so much. I knew this. See, I knew it. You know, I was kind of hesitating with this one. For 1 month, not eat out at a restaurant. That the pledge for you to feel wealthy more than to show other people that you are.
All right, who's willing to take the full pledge? The full pledge, full pledge, full pledge. Ooh,
You're not.
the full pledge. What's wrong with that pledge for you? If you're not spending per day, you're not using your credit card for a week, and you're not eating at restaurants for a month.
I can't do the restaurant. I just can't.
You can't do the restaurant.
I can't do the restaurant. I could do the first and I could do the second, but I don't think I can do the restaurant.
Yeah. Okay.
I could try.
Just try it for 1 week. Just try.
Okay, Susie's new book, Susie Orman's 2009 Action Plan. It's over 200 pages full of easy to follow money advice for everything from savings and investments to real estate and retirement. Read it, take notes, get your questions ready, and then join us on Oprah.com for our worldwide web class with Susie Orman. It's an important 90 minutes. It won't cost you.
Living the dream. Hello,
If
living
you're
the dream.
kind of person
Good
who
Sunday
likes to have a
morning.
book in her
Hello,
hand,
good Sunday
Susie's
morning.
new book is in bookstores for just $9.99. 200 pages. Coming up, how you can get more free help from Susie Orman. That is next. And create 2009 as your financially successful year. No more excuses.
No more excuses.
We'll be right back. So, your financial wish for us this year?
Well, for this year, I wish that you really do all follow this action plan and that you have faith in who you are. You have faith in your ability, that you don't give yourself excuses to be as great as every single one of you are meant to be, so that you can seriously live your best financial life.
Yes. And this is the year you don't want to be shackled by debt.
Now, this is the year that you want to lay the foundation so that 2010, 2011, you lay the foundation here so that all your years are years filled with blessings of all kinds.
Susie and our Oprah.com team have put together a fantastic set of tools for you. Interactive worksheets, financial charts, FICO score information, everything you need to live your best financial life in 2009 and beyond. Special thanks to the people at TV Ameritrade for helping us bring Susie's money class to our viewers. We'll see you at Oprah.com, where our money class with Susie Orman continues with Susie's 2009 action plan. Bye, everybody.
We're talking today about something very important. Like, why some people have more money than others? I ask myself that question because I, am amazed at the amount of money I've been able to make in television.
Hello, Ralph.
The
Hello.
interesting thing about this job, I've said it for years, I would have done it for free. Only I'm not telling that now. But I would have been happy to do it for free and get a part-time job, Well, money expert Susie Orman is here again today, and she says that no one is destined to be poor. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Honestly. There's a part in the Bible that says the poor we will have always. Do y'all know that? So what about that, Susie? Okay, now Susie says that anybody in this room, and you all are the room too, the room of the world watching, can choose to be rich. Do you believe that? Have y'all been to her seminar or something? That's what she says that it's not about the level of education you have, or the family you came from, or the opportunities that you have had, according to Susie in her new book. There's a brand new book I saw all in the window with Borders driving home last night. Well, how does that feel, Susie?
I have to tell you, I like the picture.
You do?
Why now, how often does an author write a book and her picture looks
Yeah,
like
and I
who she
noticed the
really
little
is?
necklace. I'm thinking, what made you choose that little necklace?
Well, you know, I always wear this necklace. I don't know if you noticed.
No,
it.
never noticed it till I saw this book.
Yeah, if you ever see me, I always have the same earrings on, same necklace, same jewelry. I never change. I bought it once, that's it.
Notice the watch. We have the same watch. Bought it once and that's it.
That's it.
Okay. So the book is all over the bookstores. I saw it last night driving home. She says it all starts with the courage to think that you can. Now, my friend Maya Angelou always says that courage is the most important of the virtues because it is
Bini guys,
without it, you can't
magko-concert
practice any
sila.
of the others consistently.
Courage is what takes you into the action that you need
Di ba
to
tapos
create
na?
that which you want. You know, everybody says to me, Susie, what does courage have to do with being
Yeah.
rich? And I can tell you, if you don't have money to pay the bills, it takes courage to walk to the mailbox, to take those bills out knowing that you don't have money to pay for it. It takes courage to think that you can own a home if you're not making any money, or that you'll ever be able to retire, or that things can change. Your thoughts can create tremendous greatness for you over, but you have to have the courage to think those thoughts.
Yeah, and most times you're afraid. A lot of people, we've done these shows where I'm sure there's some of you in here who you don't open the bills because you think they'll disappear magically somehow if you don't open them. So you're saying that it takes courage because people are afraid of...
Yeah. You know, so many people think that their financial state, because it's less than, therefore their emotional state is totally in chaos. But I've got news for you, it's totally in reverse. Because your emotional state is in chaos, that is why your financial state is in chaos. If you have fear, shame, and anger, if you think you can't, you never ever will. All those things translate to no money.
So you got to clear up all that shame and anger and fear
First,
and
the
chaos.
emotions have to go, and then comes the money. It's not that it's not that God just looked down over and said, Oprah's to have more money, you're not. It's not like he or she, whoever it is up there, chose all of them, right? Who is to win life's financial lottery? It's not like that. It's not that you had more desire than this woman next here. It's how we think and feel about our money are the key factors that determine how much we have and we ultimately get to keep. And it takes courage to look at how you really think and feel about
Okay,
yourself.
so that's Susie's new book, The Courage to be Rich. Susie says that she believes that thoughts of poverty kept her own father poor. Take a look.
I felt very poor living in a family where disaster often struck. My father worked harder than any man I have known my entire life, but his small chicken business always seemed to be on the verge of collapse. You know, my father was always so afraid that there would be enough money to pay the bills, and his fear manifested in all kinds of ways, such as him running into a burning building to save the cash in his register. That's when I learned that money was more important than life itself, or so I thought. My father never thought that it could be any different for us, because he always used to say, this is just the way things are meant to be, and that's how it is. After my father died, I was so shocked to learn that he had actually gone to law school, but he didn't finish because he gave his tuition money to his father to open up a chicken business. That's when my dad gave up his dream to have more and to be more.
So you were saying in every shot your father's wearing the same pair of pants?
Yeah, it was something to go through all these pictures to put this together, and it didn't matter what time of day, what time of year, what occasion, he had the same pair of pants and the same shirt on. And I have such a memory because they were always filled with chicken, because he plucked chicken of the chicken blood on him. And we went, because we were from Chicago, we went to one of the stores, we went in and he needed to buy a new shirt and nobody would wait on him because of how he looked. And I'll never forget him looking at me saying, Susie, just let's go. It's okay. It's that shame. It was that fear that he passed down to me. I myself never thought I could be more or have more. He tried so. He had such courage. He got up every day, like many of you, to go to work. But he never ever thought that he could be more than that. Do you know he never told any of us that he went to law school? It was a secret from everybody because he never became a lawyer. Shame and fear is what you pass down
Now,
to your
you say
children.
that those people who, because we've done many of these shows with you over the past year, and there's always somebody, I'm sure there's somebody in this audience who says, we work so hard, we work so hard, we work so hard. And you say that the people who work harder and have less truly don't think that they can have more.
Yeah, you know, it's true. You see all these people in the same situation. They work every day. Some have more, some have less. Why? It's not the energy they put out. What's going on? I have found that when you think you can't, you never ever will. Thoughts of poverty are bonds of poverty. You sit up, I know you're listening to me and you're going, oh, Susie, it can't be just that simple as thoughts. I
Yeah,
have
that's what
to
people
tell you, it is.
It is that simple.
If you think you can't, you never ever will. I can't say that enough, and it takes courage to think great thoughts.
And when you undervalue who you are, the world undervalues what you do.
Yes, it's like so many times we, don't even prize ourselves on what we do. We don't think what we do is important in this world, and there is a law of money. It actually goes when you undervalue what you do, the world undervalues who you are. That's why they don't send you the clients you want, or the pay raises that you so deserve, or the job advances that you so desire. And why did it slip through your hands? Because you yourself are undervaluing who you are, so why should the world value you?
Susie herself lost everything before she found the courage to be rich, and she's pretty rich now. Thanks to a lot of y'all. Thank you all. She says that her own shame about growing up poor, as her fear of never having enough, eventually led to her own financial disaster. Take a look.
When I was 5 years old, I had already learned that the reason my parents were unhappy wasn't because they didn't love each other, but was because they didn't have the money to pay their bills. That's when I learned that the key to happiness was money. When I was growing up, I had so much shame. I'm not proud to say this about who my father was, because he was a chicken plucker. For 7 years right after college, I was a waitress at the Buttercup Bakery, and I never even thought that I could be anything more than that. And all of a sudden one day, I dared to think I could be more. Shortly after that, I became an account executive at Merrill Lynch, went on to become a vice president of investments for Prudential-based securities.
Howard lawyer, 760. There's a homeless man that lives in a dumpster in the neighborhood. I like to throw cheese singles at him.
But I
He's
didn't
always
want
happy
people
to
to
see
know,
me and
so I
supposedly
continued to
cheese
spend and spend. And before I knew it, I
that's
had maxed out all my credit cards. I was living such a lie that none of my friends knew. As soon as I decided to view this disaster as a gift and to face the shame and tell everybody the truth about what was happening, my entire life turned around and look at what was happening.
Fear and shame and anger are emotions of poverty.
They are emotions of poverty, and whenever we act from those emotions, we create poverty. You're going to see as the show goes on today that all of us take actions based mainly out of anger. And that anger will destroy any financial foundation quicker than anything that you can build. If your money can come into you, it will go out.
Okay, lady over there, you're looking incredulous because
You're talking about fear to do anything or to try. But if you know you've got so much money, not myself right now, but I'm talking about these young couples, they have these kids and everything else. And if there's only a certain amount of money coming in, you show me where you can get that other money and put it away to do anything.
I saw your face, and that's why I keyed into you.
Well,
One of the things I think
things sound good,
Yeah.
but let's be factual with some of these families. You only get a paycheck, that's what you live off of.
Okay, this is a key here. That's why I thought you were going to be a wonderful teaching example for the world. And we'll talk about that when we come back, because the kind of fear she's talking about isn't just about money. That's what we're talking about. Fear, anger, and anxiety that goes back through your life. We're not just talking about money. And what happens is it looks like what's going on with the money in your life is what's causing all the fear and anxiety. But it's much deeper than that. That's why I want you to stand up, and now we're gonna go to commercial break and come back and talk to you.
Where's all my money?
That's it. We're talking to our favorite money expert, Susie Orman. She has a new book out called The Courage to Be Rich. Lady in Blue, we were talking to you earlier because I understand what you're saying. We do lots of shows like this where people talk, where they think that fear being a particular thing. Let me just use myself as an example of my life being afraid. Had all the
Very
trappings
great
of,
art. Thank
being
you
a
very
wealthy person, successful person, but still was afraid. Afraid of confrontation, afraid of what people might think of me, afraid of not doing well, afraid of not being enough, afraid of not being worthy. All of those things which, in one way or another, keep you from being the person that you were meant to be. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm afraid the boogeyman's going to come in, or I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to pay off. It's an internal, emotional fear that affects the way you move through your life.
Just remember the name of this book is The Courage to Be Rich. Rich doesn't mean just having money. It means internally, it means externally, it means materially and spiritually. There are plenty of people with loads of money, and they are anything but rich.
See what I'm saying? There's a wonderful line Neil Donald Walsh uses, I think, in the Conversations with God 3, where he says, as long as, though, this was strange for me, as long as you are, your definition of yourself is determined by anything outside of yourself, by what other people say or think of you, you are still a slave to those people and those thoughts. And you are not free until you can live absolutely from the center of yourself. Whatever they say, whatever they think, whatever, that's my issue. Yours might be something else. But that's what I mean by, it's not about, oh, I'm afraid, because when we do these shows, we did a show with the Yana, we were talking to the men about their fears. Every single man said, I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't afraid. Afraid of love. What does that mean? Afraid of love. I need more love. That's what I need.
You know, my one, I don't mean to interrupt you. There we go. Interrupt over, it's fine. But no, but my greatest desire in life was always to know my own thoughts. How many of us really know our own thoughts and what we think? I know what everybody thought of me. I know what I wanted everybody to think of me. But I didn't know my own thoughts. Rich thoughts of your own self create a tremendously rich life. However, I would be the last person in this world to say money alone will never make you happy. But I will tell you this, I'd be the first to say lack of money sure can make you miserable. So you can have inner wealth, you can have outer wealth, you can have it all if you just have the courage to look within yourself to find out what has to be done and conquer that.
Yeah, your book is really, it's financial, but it's more spiritual, as are all of them, but it's more spiritual than anything.
It truly combines it all. You know, so many people think, oh, well, money is money. So many financial experts say to me, Susie, what does feelings have to do with money? Money is just money.
I know, I used to see people attacking you about that.
They do. It takes courage, I have to tell you, to become successful, because once you do, everybody tries to bring you down, especially the male financial advisors. But, it's true.
I noticed that happening to you.
That's fine. But sit across the desk from a woman who just lost her husband due to divorce or death, and you tell me money doesn't have to do with feelings. Start over all by yourself when you don't know where to look or what to do. Tell me money doesn't have to do with feelings. Money is a significant part of your life, who you are, and how you deal with it. A lot has to do with
yeah, and identifying who you are and what your fears are and being able to truly release yourself from that is the road to and the courage to be rich. Do you not think?
I do, because again, please believe me, we all have internal obstacles that keep us from having more and being more. Those internal obstacles are fear, shame, and anger. The external obstacle that keeps us from having more and being more is clutter. We've already seen shows on clutter, right? But if you have a closet that has a dress in it that still has a price tag, or a suit that you've never worn, I'm telling you, if you don't have the money in your life that you want, clutter and your internal obstacles are standing smack in the middle.
Ralph, kuya Ben, di ba wala akong Cretacolor Nero? Pwede ko pa bang gamitin yung black colored pencils ako dodawin yung mga
And money
parts ng
being
kulay?
the
Oo,
number
pwede,
one
pwede.
reason why couples split.
Pwede naman
Susie
siya.
says that couples who want to be truly rich must be financially intimate. Tell us what that means.
Financially intimate means as being as intimate about your money as you are in every other aspect of your life. Isn't it true when you get to know somebody you know everything about them? They leave the toilet seat up. They leave their dirty underwear by the side of the bed. I'm serious here. You know everything. If they snore, if they don't snore, everything about them. What do you know about their money? Nothing. And if you think when it comes to money, love is going to conquer all, I've got news for you. You are wrong. It's time, if you're going to merge souls, your love souls, you have to merge your financial souls as well. You have to become financially intimate and do what I call practicing safe money.
This is Monica and Avery. He manages a restaurant, and she is a pre-med student. And like many of you, serious money problems have threatened their marriage. Susie thinks shame, fear, and anger are making them poor. And I know that to those of you who are just listening, just like the lady in blue over there, it sounds like, okay, those are nice words, or words used to describe the situation, but that's why she goes into really great detail about it in the book.
Which pencil you're using? Is it charcoal or graphite? Technically, this is charcoal, but it is not the typical charcoal pencil. It's not the typical charcoal pencil because this is an oil-based charcoal pencil. So it's not the powdery charcoal. This is more of like an oily charcoal. That's why it's not messy to use. It's very solid and very oily and very dark, as a lot darker than graphite.
Our financial problems are so bad, they're ruining our marriage. We've even separated for a while. We're $29,000 in debt. Initially, we accumulated our debt through purchases, going out to eat, short getaways, vacations, clothes.
I blame Avery for a lot of the debt because of bad investments, paying the bills late, charging items on the credit cards that he did not need.
I'm not financial. My wife spends, as well.
I was ashamed when our car was repossessed, when we had to drive an older model car.
I know it's my fault. I know we shouldn't be in this situation. I don't know how to get out of it.
He's supposed to be the head of the household, and he's not providing for us.
The financial burden has also caused problems in the bedroom.
I've slept on the couch for maybe even a month.
More than anything, this debt, strain, this lack of finances, it's taken my partner, it's taken my friend, my wife.
I need my partner to be able to
Ralph, drawing update, nilagyan ko ng marker outline si Jesus at yung
I
mga
know my
disciples
wife loves me.
niya sa
But
Last
there's so much
Supper
debt that
painting.
it's blocking that love from flowing.
Anong klaseng style na nga ba yun yung merong outlines?
We spent probably 6
Para
hours.
siyang
And let me just tell you this, because this doesn't happen in an hour on television, that's why I mentioned that.
Impressionist
during that session with Susie,
style.
I understand that you realize, this is what my little note says, that your anger and his shame were keeping you poor.
Yes, it was keeping me in bondage from the wealth of information that Susie told us, gave us. That's what was hindering
Bumi
us from moving on financially.
Dubai, which
Because, Avery, you were
or Dubai,
ashamed.
Dubai.
And are
Bumi
ashamed,
Dubai.
but we're ashamed
Which
of your
paper is
financial choice.
this? This is
Which then keeps you
Strathmore mixed media toned gray paper.
I mean, my wife used this term of it holds you in bondage. There's so much that you want to do, but fear of, well, what if it doesn't work, yet another failure. I mean, I know I felt so many times I would see an opportunity and I think in the back of my mind, this is it, this is the way out. But yet I failed so many times before that possibly I could have passed up the right opportunity because I was afraid of failing, letting my wife down again.
Yeah, and most important, you realized during that session that you were passing your anger and your shame onto your children.
We didn't initially, but after our session, we realized how much more of the shame and anger was being passed on than feelings that we felt.
And just out of curiosity, so you hear the lady in blue, don't you like to know for the rest of your life you are now known as the lady in blue, but that you hear her say, what is fear? What does anger have to do with how much money you don't have? Do you understand why it does?
You now do.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go through it, you have to see it to get it.
So one of my notes says you put things before money. What does that mean?
Well, basically, there's this law of money, people first, then money, then things. What Avery and Monica realized, most of us value things more than we value money. That's why we have more things in our house than money in our bank accounts. If you don't have money to buy the things, you just
Two-
I got a big old amen over
230
here.
to 230
They haven't read
GSM.
the book, but they got that part. God, because they're saying, I have more things and I have money. Bing, 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 bing. Coming up, Susie shows Monica and Avery how forgiveness, I know that's also a difficult concept, can give them the courage to be rich. The courage to be rich when we come back. Susie showed Monica and Avery how forgiveness, and I know this is a difficult concept for a lot of you, can get them past the anger and shame that's keeping them from the money that they want. Take a look.
In order to be rich, the two of you have to be financially intimate. Avery, I need you to tell Monica what you want, what you need to make this work for you.
I need you to release me from 7 years of mistakes, 7 years of bad decision making. I can't do it with the weight of the bills, the weight of the lack of money, and the weight of your anger and resentment. I can't.
So Monica, can you take down those walls of resentment and anger and tell Avery what you need from him?
I need us to work together. I need for you to not